Bây giờ sao nó lâu, máy bây giờ nó nặng quá trời luôn.
Cô lấy cái bài 1 riêng lẻ cô lấy cái bài 1 thể cũng được cho
em
nó
lấy
nhanh
cái
đó
bài
cô.
1 thôi phải không?
Dạ, cô lấy cái
Dạ.
bài 1 lẻ cho nó nhanh, tại vì cái bài này nó nhiều khi nó dài quá mà cái máy của cô á thì nó lại
Dạ.
để cho cô Ngân Tâm đọc cho nó nhanh.
Em đổi background đi đùa.
Cả nhà có thấy background của em không?
Dạ thấy.
Có,
À,
đẹp quá chị,
downtown
đẹp
nè,
luôn.
downtown nè, downtown Chattanooga.
Ngon quá. Đẹp quá.
Trong
Dạ.
lành dễ sợ luôn.
Thấy không? Cả nhà thấy không?
Dạ thấy.
Đấy.
Đang kiếm
Đẹp
chiếc xe máy mà chưa thấy chiếc xe máy nào.
Không, chưa. Tại vì bây giờ là đi lại ngay chỗ đua là bơi trước. Tại vì bên đây là hừng sáng á, ta sẽ bơi trước xong rồi mấy lên bờ xong rồi mấy đạp xong rồi mấy chạy đó.
Dạ. Ủa vậy là bển hừng sáng là 5 giờ sáng hả chị Loan?
Dạ bây giờ 7 giờ con.
Dạ.
Tại vì em đang ở ngay chỗ nó trước chỗ em 1 tiếng.
Dạ.
Có 2 tiếng thôi nhưng mà nó đi trước 1 giờ. Nó. Dạ cả nhà đọc đi. em
Dạ,
show cảnh cả nhà
cô
đọc đi.
Thảo Linh đang share bài.
Dạ.
Em đang vật lộn với cái máy của em bữa nay nó đi như con rùa. Xài mấy cái chương trình đồ vẽ hình rồi đó, cái nó nặng quá trời luôn. Để tắt lên nó vớt.
Đẹp
Chi.
quá.
Dạ rồi, được rồi.
Yeah.
Yes. We came in check for to drop us off and parking.
So you give him a job? You gave him a job?
Hay để em share cũng được, em share được nè.
Không thì cô Ngân Tâm share đi. Cô Ngân Tâm share là xong rồi đó.
Em thấy mọi người để cái chiều cao vùng gì đúng không? Của em nó ngắn nghỉn nè. Cái chỗ đó
cô vô cái bánh răng á cô. Cô vô cái bánh răng chỗ này nè. Đó, kéo cái chiều cao vùng sang xuống 500. Ok.
Dạ
Rồi 30. Cô để 10 hoặc là cô để 12 cũng 11 cũng được. Cô để 10 hay 11, cô thích đọc cái nào thì cô kéo cái đó.
Em để 12 đi.
Dạ rồi, ok cô. Rồi. Bây giờ cô chị nói đi, xong rồi cả nhà tắt mic cho cô nói. Cô nói một mình cô.
Dạ rồi, ok. Em bắt đầu nha.
Ok.
Okay. Lesson 1, the formula of the source of life. Currently, our society is being governed by 3 perspectives. The first perspective is the scientific perspective. The second is the religious and belief perspective, and the third is the perspective of morality principles. Regardless of where we live in the world, we are currently being influenced by these perspectives. And one of the laws that influences us greatly is the law of cause and effect and the laws of causal conditions interactions. If we imagine our current life, is our current result simply the outcome of past result in the past? There is a formula called the formula of the source of life. What is this formula? Let's find out. 1. Formula for desired outcomes. Why do I have this result today? If standing under the perspective of morality principles, do I have this result today? First, let us thoroughly understand the course from the scientific perspective to discuss the source of life of a person. Religion and belief, morality, principles, science. 2. The formula of the source of life. We take a piece of paper and write down the word result at the bottom and circle it. Then draw an arrow leading to the result. If we had to choose one word that directly represents the result of life today that affects our life results, it would be choice. Experts give it the message that choice directly affects the results of our lives today, but let's reflect. Is it true that the chain of choices we made in the past determines the results of our lives today? When we reflect, we often grant ourselves the right to choose the good things in life. However, when it comes to unpleasant things, the tendency of our inner self is to attribute the choice to others. If we contemplate even the desire in undesirable situations in life and owning to our own choices, and we will understand that the source of life originates from ourselves. Therefore, the source of life originates from me, but it's not my fault. Why it's not my fault? It's because we didn't know any better. If our awareness has been better, we would not have made that choice. At that time, our awareness was only at that level, which led to that choice. Therefore, the choice we made at that exact moment was correct. This leads to a famous saying, if you want to change circumstances, change your personality. This explains that a person repeatedly recreates the same circumstances due to their formed personality. However, if we do not know what kind of personality is suitable for good outcome, so it will focus on changing personality is not yet the root cause. This is because no specific personality trait dictates that a person's life will be good. Researchers studying wealthy people found that one person become rich in one way and another in different way. They have different personalities. Therefore, any personality can potentially lead to wealth, but any personality can also lead to poverty. Ultimately, people realize that even if they change their personality, they would not know which one was appropriate. Thus, focusing on changing personality, not root cause, and the results still repeat. If you don't change your personality, you don't change the results. Yet, focusing on changing personality doesn't work because it isn't the root cause. The expert informed us that a person's habits create their personality. After this realization, we started asking us to focus on changing habits. Good habits will lead to a good personality, resulting in good choices. After some time, people discover that changing habits changes personality, and changing personality changes the result. However, they realize that habits are also not the root cause. They investigated further and found that a person's action determines their habits. So they say that good action just lead to good habits lead to good personality, and a good personality will lead to a good destination or good life result. Following this, they try to manage people's actions, but they discover that actions will repeat the old patterns, and changing a person's action is very difficult. They succeeded in changing the action, but focusing on changing action did not last. Eventually, experts provided us with the insight that a person's thoughts determine their actions. They told us that good thoughts will create good actions, good action will result in good habits. Good habits will lead to good personality, which then leads to the final result choice. Thus, the saying goes, so a thought-driven action, so an action-driven habit, so a habit-driven personality, so personality-driven a destiny. The entire world focused on how people could cultivate a good mindset and good thoughts. However, through deeper research over time, people discover that even when they try to control their thoughts, negative thoughts will still repeatedly emerge in their lives. These thoughts were always present in their minds. They begin to investigate what determines a person's thoughts. If focusing on thoughts, a person continues to repeat negative thoughts in life. The question is raised, what shapes a person's thoughts? High-level mentors and experts pointed out to us that it is their beliefs that shape their thoughts. 3 beliefs. Essentially, humans always hold the belief about something. This belief can be counter to the desire in line with their desire. This is also known as a positive or negative belief. For example, someone says, I keep trying to lose weight, but I cannot lose any. I do discourage. I keep trying, but it doesn't work. Normally, our thinking assesses that they lack the belief in their ability to lose weight. However, the deeper truth is that the person holds the belief that they are very fat and will never be able to become thin. Whatever belief a person holds, their life's result will form accordingly. This is because belief directly affects their choices, and whatever belief is held, that result manifests. If we hold the belief that we cannot do something, the result is that we cannot do it. Human belief does not have the 99%. Belief is 100% conviction that you hold the belief. The difference lies in the direction of that belief, whether it aligns or it goes or goes against the desire. If humans knew that knowledge, it would be wonderful. So if someone believes I'm not beautiful, no matter what I do, I'm not beautiful, the result is that the person believes they are ugly, so nothing they do makes them beautiful. Therefore, some people imitate others and go for a no job, but their inner beliefs is that they are an ugly person getting a nose job, which sometimes results in them damaging their nose. Conversely, a person who already believes they are beautiful, when they get a procedure, it makes them even more beautiful. People who hold the belief that they are happy become happier when they get married. Conversely, if we hold the belief that we are miserable, then whoever marry will remain miserable. There was a story about a woman whose husband was launching a book. He was a famous self-development trainer, and a reporter, instead of interviewing him, played a tough trick and turned to his wife asking, "Your husband is a very famous self-development trainer and he has helped many people change their lives, become happy, but honestly, has he brought happiness to you?" The woman answered immediately, "No." Everyone around were alarmed, wondering why she said that and if it would damage her husband's reputation. Another reporter pressed on, asking, "So, has your husband truly brought you a happy life result?" And she said, "No." Then another person skillfully asked a more open-ended question. The woman smiled and replied, "How can a man bring happiness to a woman? A woman must have happiness on her own, and only then can a man bring her more happiness. He hasn't brought me happiness. I must be a happy person, and he is just the one who brings me more happiness." Internally, we lack the belief that others love us. We don't believe our husband or children love us, so we strive and demand their love. And what is the resulting outcome? People do not love us because internally we lack that belief, so we don't see the result externally. Therefore, we only need to change our inner belief system to change the results. Here is the concept we need to grasp. The inner belief versus the conscious desire. For example, when a woman or man gets married, they expect the marriage to be harmonious and happy. However, deep down, some people's inner belief does not include harmonious and happy marriage. So the conscious desire is for a harmonious and happy marriage. But if the inner belief contradicts this desire, the result is that the inner belief always triumphs over the conscious desire. If the inner belief and the conscious desire are ununified, life becomes so wonderful. The conscious desire usually aims for good things, for example, a happy marriage, success in work, and good relationships with people. Almost everyone wishes for positive outcomes. If the conscious desire is unified with the inner belief, human life is wonderful. Humans struggle at this point between thoughts and beliefs. This is a crucial gateway of the brain or mindset and the person's inner subconscious, which often conflict with each other. Ultimately, the inner self wins. Humans try and use their conscious mindset to change the inner self, and science often favors this approach. If science were entirely correct, the lives of people who follow science would all be wonderful. However, the scientific perspective shows us that our inner beliefs are what determine our results. Therefore, we must change the belief system to change results. Morally, thinking about the external will not change the results. However, belief is also not the root cause, so changing the beliefs doesn't suffice. We don't know why we trust a certain person, so we raise the next question. What determines a person's belief? That's a person's mental image or seed of the mental image. It determines their beliefs. The seeds of mental images in our mind determine our beliefs, which determine the results of our lives. 4. Mental image. Let's coordinate on a small exercise. Two people closest to us, 2 people we feel most familiar with, then without thinking, write their names vertically on both sides. Then instantly choose 5 words that evoke the mental image of our feelings and emotion about that person. Okay, you can stop and do this exercise here and then continue reading. Okay, have you finished? Okay, continue. Because we have that seed of the mental image in our head, it projects the result of our lives externally. We see our father as handsome, funny, or gentle, but sometimes other people might not see his gentleness. They might even see him as strict. Yet we see him as gentle in our eyes. Even when he sleeps, we might perceive him as diligent. Why? We assume he must be tired, which is why he's sleeping. But if the sense of mental image we hold of our father is laziness, then even he's working, we might say, look at that lazy attitude. The results of our external life are projected from the seeds of mental image in our minds. 5. The story of the pen. Let us borrow the story from Giselle Michael Roach. Imagine we are holding an object we frequently use, perhaps a pen or writing tool. Now consider another creature, a very intelligent animal living in our house, a puppy. Okay, when we see this, we call it a pen or a writing instrument because we use it to write. But when the puppy encounters this object, it chews on it. The puppy's action of chewing makes us think the puppy perceives the subject as a bone or a toy, which is why it chews. If the puppy perceived this as a pen, it would use it to write. This means we see this object and call it a pen because we visualize using it to write. What about the puppy? It proceeds to gnaw and chew on it. It perceives this as a toy or a bone. Who is right, in our opinion? The puppy perceives this as a bone or a toy, and we perceive it as a pen or a writing instrument. Both are correct. Now let's put an object in the room. No one is there, neither us or the puppy. If no one is here, what is this object? It's nothing at all. It's not that it doesn't exist, but because there's no subject perceiving it, no subject cognizing it, no subject feeling it, at that moment it's nothing. Being nothing does not mean it doesn't exist. 6. All things have the nature of emptiness. All things have the nature of emptiness, potentiality. It's not nothing. It's nothing when there is no subject perceiving it. So what is it? It is created by the subject that cognizes it and the subject that perceives. Now we step in and we look at that object. At that moment, it's a pen, but if a dog step in, it will perceive it as a toy or a bone. If we and the puppy step at the same time, for us is a pen and for the puppy is a bone. So a specific question arises. What determines the nature of that object? Is it determined by the external nature affecting us, or is it reflected from within us to the outside? We find that the nature of this object is determined by what is within us, by the series of mental images in our mind that dictates that this object is. The series of mental images in our mind project outwardly to manifest that reality. Earlier, we said our father is a gentle person. Essentially, the father is neither gentle nor anyone, but because we have that mental image inside, it projects outward. Our father being gentle, diligent, or complaining is based on our cognition of him. It is because we hold that series of mental images about our father that we perceive him that way. The mental image within a person determine the result that reflect their external life reality. Therefore, the world we perceive is based on the mental image they hold. So if we want to change the external world, or in other words, if we want to change our destiny according to the scientific perspective, changing the mental image changes destiny, changing the mental image changes destiny, changing the mental image changes destiny. Okay. What is important, we need to press it 3 times. The tendency of our inner psychological life is very interesting. The longer we live together, if a person does not nurture or enlarge the positive mental image they hold about their loved ones, the negative images will manifest. This is a miraculous phenomenon of the principle of light and darkness. The principle of light states that the closer we live to someone, if we don't enlarge the positive images we have of them by default, the unpleasant images will emerge in our minds. That is why when we first meet someone, we generally hold positive mental images of each other. But the longer we live together, if we fail to enlarge the positive images of the other person, the unpleasant images will manifest. Thus, undesirable realities often occur in social relationships, leading to thoughts like, my neighbor's wife is better, or my neighbor's child is better than mine. Someone else's husband is better. My husband is not good. Other people's wives are beautiful. Other people's wives are good. Why? Because we only meet the neighbor husband or wife briefly, and we see the beautiful image. But our husband or wife is around all the time, and because we don't know how to enlarge the positive images, we see the poor images. We only need to change the image toward the direction we desire to orient our image toward what we want. If we hold good and beautiful images, the belief system will automatically change, and the result will change in an instant. Therefore, if a person can maintain beautiful images of loved ones, especially positive images of people, we change our entire faith conditions regarding people, maintaining a good image of our health, maintaining a good image of social relationships, maintaining a good image of ourselves and our inner self, maintaining a good image of our finances. Changing the mental limit changes destiny. We only need to have one simple realization. According to the scientific perspective, the source of life originates from the mental images in our mind. We only need to remember one thing: the series of mental images in our mind determine the results of our life today. This leads to the profound saying, if one fully grasped. 7. Every matter should begin with the result. Every matter should begin with the result. Because the simplest way to achieve anything we are about to do it is to start from the result. For example, why is it so difficult for a person marriage to be happy? Because we do not start the marriage by defining the result of the marriage. The results we have are often based on observing those around us. Our mind holds the image of a bad marriage result. So when we start, we already have that result. All human endeavors start from the result. The result in a person's mind, the mental image in a person's mind, is the result of external reality. When the destination is seen, there's no need to rush. If the destination is unseen, why rush? When we start with the result, our journey automatically changes. It is like knowing where we are going. No matter the means of transport, we can get there. But if we don't know where our destination is, even if we are equipped with most modern facilities, we cannot reach the destination. Thus, every matter should begin with the result. The result is formed from the mental image in our mind. Therefore, simply changing the mental image changes destiny. When the image is clear, our life becomes clearer. Hence, every matter begins with the result. So we can conclude that according to the scientific perspective at this moment, the seeds of mental image in our mind determine the results of our lives. Now the question is raised: what determines the mental image in our mind? This is because those images appear spontaneously in our heads. What we hear, see, say, and know determines the mental image in our mind. It is precisely what we hear, what we see, what we say, and what we know that determine our mental images. And what we are struggling with most often is the knowing that is detrimental to the future. Currently, the knowing regarding marriage is highly detrimental to the mental image we hold. Most of the images are negative. The knowing regarding child education gives us images that are not very positive. The knowing about this life, the knowing about people gives us disadvantageous images of people. The knowing we have about careers and business in life makes things increasingly adverse. Especially our knowing about health, this knowing has influenced us from birth until now, because according to the scientific perspective, we cannot say about the time before birth. So from the moment we are born until now, what we know, what we see, what we say, what we hear have influenced our mental images. If we live in a tribe, a village, or a lineages, where the average lifespan of people is between 120 and 160 years, would we feel old and decrepit if we were 60 years old, or we still feel like we are in the early youth? What we know about health, what we hear about health, what we see about health, what we say about health is different from those who live in village or lineage, where the average lifespan is 60 or 70 years. In the later case, people around 60 years old are mostly winding down. If we were 60 then, wouldn't we feel like we were about to go close to that? If we live in a lineage where the average monthly income of adults is around 1 million USD, how would we feel today if our income were about 200 million VND? How would we feel? So what we hear, see, say, and know determines our mental images. But if the entire lineage struggles just to afford food and the highest income anyone has is 20 million or 30 million VND, how would we feel with an income of 200 million VND? Wonderful, right? If only one star appears in the sky in the future, the constellation of stars will appear. Therefore, in society, when someone achieves something wonderful or excels, it will lead to a chain of stars emerging. What people hear, see, say, and know will gradually change accordingly, and what will change the image of society. At this time, achieving peace and joy is simpler than being angry. In the future, someone will say that comprehensive wealth is simpler than poverty. Gradually, what people hear, see, say, and know will change, and society will undergo a massive shift. If only a few people thoroughly understand life, society will also understand life. Because what is heard, seen, spoken, and known is constantly changing. There is a Japanese story about researchers studying the behavior of very intelligent monkeys. The monkeys love sweet potatoes, so scientists gave them sweet potatoes, but first buried them in the sand to observe their reaction. The monkeys liked them, but found the sand unpleasant, yet they still had to eat. One beautiful day, a female monkey accidentally dropped her sweet potato into water. She picked it up and ate it, finding it delicious. From then on, she knew to wash the potato before eating. She taught her father, mother, and siblings, and gradually her family taught the surrounding families. Scientists mark every monkey that learned the washing method. When the 100th monkey was reached, something surprising happened, that the monkey had to be in contact with any other monkey and had never been taught how to wash the potato. But when given the potato, it spontaneously went to find water and wash it. Observing all monkeys from 101st onward, they gradually all knew how to do it. The phenomenon even spread to other islands despite the geographical distance, where monkeys could not possibly travel between islands, yet the monkey there also knew how to wash the potato. A person's life and society will continuously transform when we change what we hear, see, say, and know, and change the mental image of our future. This enlightenment of condition will help others change in the future as well. Therefore, when living in family, we are determined to transform ourselves first. Over time, as our mental image change regarding ourselves and those around us, the family automatically changes too. Thus, there's no need to seek change in others, just focus on changing ourselves. This means changing our mental images about ourselves and our loved ones. It means changing our knowing about ourselves, our knowing about humanity, and our knowing about the law of causal condition and results. This is how we change the image. And subsequently, we change what we say. The formula for changing the image is control what you hear and see, change what you say and know. Then we change destiny. First, we change the knowing, then change the saying, and control the hearing and seeing. Gradually changing the mental image changes destiny. That's at the end of the lesson 1. Thank you so much for your listening, and see you on the next section.
Ơi, chúc mừng con anh Tâm. Cả nhà ơi, cả nhà ơi, chút xíu nữa vô ủng hộ con Ngân Tâm nha.
đọc quá trời hay
là
luôn.
cô Cindy nha. Hôm nay hai con lên sóng nha.
Dạ, bây giờ em quay bên kia nha, biết ơn các cô lắm lắm.
Dạ, chút xíu nữa anh Sĩ. Rồi anh gửi cho cô nha. Để rồi tí nữa vô ủng hộ ai cô.
Dạ.
Dạ, biết ơn cô Anh, cô Lan, cô Thảo Lan.
Dạ.
Gặp lại
Dạ,
mọi người bên
Ao
kia
luôn
nha.
nha cô.
Nha.